camping by yourself, for me, was born out of a need to go camping. Because I love it so much, I love that wonderful sense of independence that you get from being out in the backcountry, carrying on your back or in your kayak just what you need, and being able to make yourself comfortable, keep yourself safe, feed yourself, shelter yourself. All of those things are so empowering, and you build such a strong sense of independence and self-reliance that you know that you can look after yourself. So how did I prepare myself to do this? It really helps get you through if you really, really want it. It's like anything. You're willing to do the preparations and have some degree of discomfort if you really love something and you really want to do it. And I did. So that was number one. It wasn't just a whim. It was a real desire. I also knew that I knew how to camp. I knew how, because a lot of the time backcountry camping, I went with one other person. Well, you share a load when you go with somebody, that's true. But you have to know how to look after yourself, and you know how to look after and support somebody else in the process as well. It's important to have experience camping in whatever way you want to go and do solo camping. Give yourself every advantage. The other thing is practice being alone. One of the things I did, which I found really helped me, was I went hiking by myself, day hiking. I went to places I was familiar with, but I went by myself. I ventured further and further down the trail, through the woods, alone. We have wildlife here on Vancouver Island, and yeah, bears are a reality. It's an interesting feeling going down trails by yourself and knowing that you're intruding in nature's space. You're the prey. But most animals actually don't want anything to do with you. One of the things about hiking and camping alone is that we tend to be very quiet. Being very quiet on the trail, you're more likely to cause a problem with coming around a corner where an animal is not expecting or hasn't been able to hear you. So sometimes making noise. Some people wear bells, whatever they do, whatever works. Sometimes I just take my walking stick and I bang it on things and I talk out loud periodically. Talk to myself. Call out, "Hey bear," if I'm in a really brushy area. Anything that lets animals around you know that you're there. So I spend more time by myself going hiking and paddling by myself, coming up to the cabin by myself. That was interesting. The first couple of times I came up here by myself and I locked the door. The thing is that the door is a glass door. And I thought, when I locked the door, I thought, why am I locking the door? You know, it would be easy to break in here. And I didn't know why I locked the door in the end, but I still did it. Well, I don't lock the door anymore. You know, you get used to being alone in the night by yourself or walking down trails by yourself. All of that helps prepare you to go out camping in a tent, if that's your goal, by yourself in the backcountry. I also did some camp. I did a night or two in a campsite by myself. So that was another thing. Go up in stages, pick off something that's relatively simple, straightforward, you're pretty somewhat confident with, and work up in increments. Many of us are never alone, and so it's a bit of a leap to say, I'm going to get in my canoe, or I'm going to go backpack and I'm going down the trail or across the lake and I'm going to sit up in the woods. The first time that I went solo camping was up in the park that adjoins this area, and there's backcountry sites there. I chose an island. I thought I might feel safer on this island, although, you know, any self-respecting bear could easily have swum over to my campsite, but somehow it was a psychological edge. I chose not to sleep in the forest. but to sleep out on an exposed rock. Why? It just felt better to me. The other thing was that I was familiar with that little island. I'd been there before, just in the day, and spent time in the daytime there. So it was not unfamiliar. As I've become more comfortable going backcountry camping, I've gradually stretched the edges. And I still have quite a long ways to go. Another thing that I did this summer, which I had not done for a very long time, was I went backpacking solo. But I went in a provincial park. There are designated campsites, and there were other people in the park. But there was a lot of time walking trails and being by myself. So I've added the backpacking piece back. My first backpacking trip this summer was to go with a friend. That was great, and then I felt ready to go on my own. So I'm a real believer in going in steps that are doable, manageable, comfortable, but with an edge. I think one of the things that drives me a lot is the challenge of doing something new and pushing my edges just a little bit. And I don't want to be grossly uncomfortable, but I don't mind being a little uncomfortable. Over the years, I've become fairly good at self-talk about fantasy versus reality. I did a video a while ago, about a year ago, I think, on some tips for camping alone. The focus of this video, though, is how do you even get out there and get started? What are the benefits, though, of all of this? I think it's just an inner sense of accomplishment. Setting out a goal, having something that was in my mind that I always wondered if I could do. Then I charted a path to get there. And I didn't worry that it was going to take me some steps to get there. So I started out small, went in increments, gradually stretched my boundaries a bit, picked places that I thought that I knew, spent time hiking and being by myself, coming out in the cabin or my van, just exploring being alone in maybe somewhat familiar or unfamiliar areas by myself. I practiced and I built up. I didn't just leap into this. No, and I think maybe that's what people think. Maybe they don't know me very well and don't know that I've camped all my life, that I just suddenly got a whim and decided to go out into the backcountry and set up a tent. Well, that isn't what happened at all. I know how to be safe. I know how to be as safe as I can be. But you know, there's risks in everything we do. There's a risk when we walk out the door. I just chopped firewood with an axe that's probably too heavy for me. When I'm by myself, I'm especially careful because I know it's up to me to manage myself and keep myself safe. So I take all kinds of steps to provide a safe environment for myself where I can flourish, I can enjoy it, I can have fun, and I can feel like I'm accomplishing something that I really, really wanted to do. The outcome overall is a wonderful sense of accomplishment. I love the sense of being independent and I like the challenge of doing something that's a little bit new. I also enjoy using the skills that I've built up over many years of going camping and being in the outdoors. It's such a joy to be able to get a fire going, to cook your meal on the fire, to set up your gear, to do it well, know how to set up a tarp, just basic things. And there's this wonderful, for me, it's the most wonderful feeling is knowing that you've got everything you need in order to get by for the 2, 3, 5, 6 days, that you, however long you're going for. But you are self-sufficient, you have the skills, you feel confident, you have the confidence to in yourself that you've learned well. And do I sometimes feel anxious? Yeah, I do. Usually feel anxious when I'm at home, getting ready to go. But once I've made the decision to go, and I start with my packing and I have my lists, there's all the things you do to get ready to go out on your own or go camping anywhere, really. I get into it. I get in my car, my canoe, whatever I'm doing, and then I start going. And by the time I'm out there, I'm feeling good. Occasionally, those little anxieties, the sound in the woods, the crunch of the leaves, the falling of a branch, the rubbing of a tree, those things, yeah, I perk up and I listen and I figure it out. And then I tell myself, you're okay. Self-talk is big. So I'm not going to advise you whether you should go solo camping or not. I think that's a very individual decision. It's based on a lot of things that are individual. But for me, it was something I wanted to do. I did have a really strong desire to try it. I wanted to see if I could. I have a lot of background camping. I have some definite background doing backcountry camping through backpacking and kayaking. I know how to camp, so I have the skills. The hurdle was, could I do it by myself? Really assess whether you really want to invest in doing this. Do you really want to do it badly enough? Is it a challenge that you just think you should be able to do, or is it something you have a real deep desire to? Because then you'll put in the time to prepare yourself to go. Make sure that whatever kind of camping you want to do, that you've got the skills. Goes without saying, make sure that you know how to do it with somebody else before you decide that you're going to go off and do it on your own. Think of the things that you can do to build up your confidence and to accustom yourself to being alone, whether it's walking by yourself, like whatever it is, spend time by yourself out in the environment that you're planning to camp in. We all have different goals in life, and solo camping is just one of those examples. So if it is a goal for you, I really encourage you to take the time to prepare, build yourself up, enjoy the outdoors in whatever way works for you. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day and live fully. Bye for now.